These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Mark Z via PDK. Literally, the morning that Kuwait changed their value, they published an article saying bare minimum they were 6 to 9 months away from a revaluation. Then, within a few hours, they had a new rate. It floated all the way to about $9.88, then settled back down to where it is now. Right, BGG article quote Saudi Arabia says open to settling trade in other currencies, unquote. BGG says Iraq is talking about their currency and its value almost every single day. The set of events I've discussed recently are now being talked about in mainstream outlets. Stick to the news. Nader from the Mideast says today, for the first time since 20 years, my mom is able to receive money directly from bank to bank. What happened is mom needed some money and I was in France. I heard they were accepting electronic payments, so I sent money to my mom from my bank in France, through Iraq, and she received it this morning. I sent it yesterday morning, she received it this morning. It's amazing. I know it's not a new thing, but before we were not able to do that. Now we are able to do that. What's weird is I've been watching the exchange rate. The exchange rate 1670, 1650, but when I sent the money, it was only 1460, just like the normal rate. So that's good news. Something has happened. Something has happened. To tell you the truth. All right, from Frank 26 article quote, the Wall Street Journal reveals the scenes of the Fed's tightening of the dollar in Iraq, unquote. Frank says the Wall Street Journal and the international world talk about the exchange rates in Iraq. Sampson article quote, the Iraqi Dinar pays the price Washington cuts off dollar smuggling route to Iran. Sampson says putting a halt to stealing USD. Sheila via PDK says Nader said they can now send money electronically and internationally just this week from France to Iraq with no problem. Is this a sign? Sheila says, I absolutely believe this is a sign. I hear a delegation from Iraq has been here a week to work on putting the rate live in the system. We've been over there in Iraq working on the rate to go live there as well. I hear the rate will be live on the 29th. You cannot trade on the NASDAQ with the ISX without having a rate. That's why the whole purpose of the delegation being over here. At this point, nobody should believe this won't happen until 2024. Pay attention. We are at the right place at the right time. Frank 26 says, I feel in my heart this is coming. It's almost a no-brainer. I don't know when. I don't know how. Well, at least 1-to-1 when it leaves the country. Mark Z via PDK, there is still positive chatter. Most of my banking contacts still believe it will happen by the 1st. Nobody knows the exact date except a handful of folks that pull the trigger. Do I still think January is possible? Absolutely. They have positioned the money and could pull the trigger at any time. Militiaman, with all these convergences going on in Iraq, gearing to do an exchange rate change, I think what we're going to see is these convergences coming together in a very short period of time. Because of the need for hydrocarbon law, Article 140, Sinjar Agreement, all of these different things are coming together. The 2023 budget being next week, the World Trade Organization have had meetings today that included many countries, not only Iraq. They're waiting on the exchange rate. All right, clear article quote, Al Rashid Bank begins selling dollars to travelers through Baghdad International Airport branch. Quote, on Thursday, the governmental Al Rashid Bank began selling dollars to travelers through the Baghdad International Airport branch at the amount of $5,000 per passenger at a price of 1470 dinars per dollar. Frank 26 article quote, the Iraqi fans address al-Sudani from the Basra Stadium, reduce the dollar. Citizens chant to Sudani to bring down the dollar before we lose confidence. And lastly, Mark Z via PDK, they are launching their ISX on our NASDAQ. And for them to be able to do that, in my opinion, they have no choice but to have a functional, working international rate/currency that is accepted everywhere all over the world. How can they send money through the stock exchange without a functioning international currency? That is one of the reasons I am still excited about the month of January.